Hello friends, welcome back to our channel. In today's video, I am going to share with you top 5 mistakes people do inside the interview room and how to avoid it. Let's get right into the video. My name is Alfred Appiah, and on this channel, myself and Paul will talk about everything study abroad and visa that has to do with US and Canada. So please, if you are new here, consider subscribing so that when we upload any video, you can be the first to access it. Also, check the video description section for our Telegram page so that you can join and have your questions answered. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section as well. Many people get their visas denied, not because they don't have good funding or they don't prove ties to their home country. No, that is not the point. Many people get their visas denied because of some attitude that happened during the interview room. Your posture and attitude and behavior you take into the interview room can affect your visa approval. The first mistake to avoid: fear. Yes, a lot of people enter the interview room with fear. They go inside the interview room with a lot of misconception, and others who have heard so much about the interview process that makes them afraid. There are some people who become so anxious about the process that all that they are thinking of is getting my visa approved, getting my visa approved. So they go into the interview room with a lot of anxiousness and fear. One thing fear does is that when you go into the interview room with fear, it affects the way you flow. It affects how you express yourself, and ultimately your visa gets denied. Consulars are looking for people who can speak and defend their case with confidence. So when you go to the interview room, even if you have good story, you must present your good story with confidence, not fear. The best way you can overcome fear is to prepare well for the interview by practicing sample questions and how you will answer them. Many people get their visas refused because during the interview, they decide the kind of consular they want to go and those they want to avoid. It has happened to me before. In my first interview that I was rejected, there was this consular who was rejecting people. Everyone who goes to that consular was being rejected. So I was telling myself, oh God, let me not go to this consular. Lo and behold, she was the consular I went to. So as soon as it got my turn and that consular called me, fear entered me. I became nervous and it affected my performance. Let me tell you something. The fact that a consular is denying people does not mean when you go, you will be denied. Many people go to the interview room, and because in the interview room we can hear what is happening, we can see and hear consulars approving and rejecting people, it affects our focus. That is a mistake. Make sure that inside the interview room you remain focused irrespective of whatever is going on around you. Irrespective of whether the consulars are approving people or they are not approving people. Go and perform and go and present your case. Also, many people have heard a lot about some consulars. So even before they enter the interview room, they are hoping to avoid that consular because one of their friends told them that this consular is wicked, this consular do not get visa. So assuming you go with this mindset and it is that consular that you go to, it will affect you and it will affect your performance, and your visa will be refused because you wouldn't get the confidence and the courage to defend yourself. So avoid that. Go to the interview room prepared. Irrespective of who will interview you, go to the interview room prepared. The US consulars are trained equally, and although they are individuals who have their personal judgments, when you go and prove and establish that you qualify for the visa, your visa will be approved. Every consular is put there to make sure that they approve visas, they approve qualified people. So if you qualify and you meet their satisfaction, you answer your questions so well, your visa will be approved. Make sure you avoid this mistake. Speaking too much. This is one of the common mistakes that people do. In my experience and my encounter with people through coaching, I have seen that many people get rejected because they spoke too much. They go to the interview room and they give more information than the consoler need. They don't answer questions based on what the consoler asks them. They try to be impressive. They try to impress the consolers by speaking too much. Always understand that the interview is dictated by your response. So the response you give to the consoler may require a follow-up. So if you know you are giving a response that you cannot back it up with a follow-up question, you avoid it. Make sure that you speak briefly and give only the information the consoler needs. Don't try to impress by speaking too much, talking too much, speaking so much grammar, and trying to be somebody you are not. Don't show documents when you have not been asked to. There are some people, the consoler asks them, who is sponsoring you? They say, my uncle, or they give a lot of good explanation and they say, this is the document. No. Always allow the consoler to ask for documents before you show it. Because when the consoler is convinced or not convinced and he needs a document, he will ask you. So be brief and don't talk too much. The final mistake to talk about is lack of clear communication. I have seen that a lot of people get rejected not because they don't have good stories, not because they don't have good offers, good scholarship, or they didn't prove ties to their home country. They get rejected because the consoler did not hear anything they said. The consoler did not hear any of the answer they gave. They were not able to communicate clearly to the consoler. Make sure that when you are communicating or you are speaking, you speak clear. You speak English that the consoler will understand. You take your time and speak slowly but clearly for the consoler to hear what you are saying, to hear the story you are telling, to hear the point you are making. That is one of the most common mistakes that people do. So somebody comes out of the interview, the person gives you his transcript, and you could see that nothing is wrong with the transcript. And according to the transcript, the person really spoke well. But the problem is the person did not speak for the consoler to hear. The consoler did not hear anything that the person said. Also, there are some people, when the consoler asks them questions, they don't hear the question. But they are afraid and they fear to ask the consoler to politely repeat their question. So if you go for the visa interview and the consoler asks you a question you didn't hear, politely ask him to repeat. Don't just assume and speak or answer a question you didn't hear clearly. This is another mistake that affects a lot of visa approval. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, like, share, and let us know your thoughts in the comment description. Make sure to check the video description section also for our Telegram page. And if you have any question, you can reach out to me or to Paul on beyitlamad@gmail.com. It is also in the video description section. Thank you, but always remember that theology is fine. Trust me.